Well, hey guys, what's going on? Today I want to talk about something that I haven't really talked about on the channel before, and that is bike packing. Something I'm very new to. I haven't had a lot of experience with bike packing until this past June when I got to go on my first bike packing trip, and I really didn't have all the gear that I needed. It was kind of a spur of the moment trip, so I had to buy some stuff at the last minute on a short budget, and I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff that I used for my budget bike packing setup on the Greenbrier River Trail. So let's check it out. Okay, so last month I went to West Virginia on the Greenbrier River Trail, which is an absolutely stunning trail. It's where I got this hat. It's along an old railroad grade, so it's pretty much extremely flat. There's like a 1% grade, which just makes it super easy to do the distance. Now it's about 90 miles total one way. When we did the trip, my brother-in-law, my son, and my nephew, my son and I ended up doing half of it. We did about 90 miles total. We did 45 miles in and then 45 miles back to the car, and that was a good distance for us. We really like the Greenbrier River Trail because of the campsites that are along there. Gorgeous campsites that are first come, first serve. Absolutely beautiful spots. They're all gorgeous. Some have running water, some have privies. Really, really nice. Just really enjoyed the experience. The reason I called this video Budget Bike Packing is because pretty much everything that I'm going to show you guys is relatively cheap. Starting off with the bike, this bike I picked up in March of 2020, literally right before the pandemic hit. I was at a little shop in Columbus, Ohio, saw this bike sitting there for 150 bucks and decided, hey, I'm gonna pick that up. Because at the time I didn't have a bike at all, so I really wanted something to ride. I didn't have any intent really of bike packing with it. Just wanted something, an off-road style bike. So I found this Cannondale Catalyst, very, very used. It was in pretty rough shape. Whoever had this, I'm guessing it was a college kid or something. They were pretty rough on this bike. It was pretty beat up, but that's why I got such a good price on it, of course. And I didn't invest that much into it. I replaced a few of the things that needed replaced. I put new pedals on it, new grips, new handlebar, and a new stem, and that's really all I put on it. The shop put new tires on it. They put WTB Rangers on it. So, you know, that was good to go. And I am by no means a bike mechanic, so I don't know how to do things like brakes and shifters and drivetrains and all that stuff. I have to rely on somebody else to help me with that. So I wasn't going to mess with any of that stuff. So all that stuff is stock, and you know, it's pretty bad actually. The shifting on this is really rough. It could use a tune-up for sure, but you know, it's got me where I need to go, and it got me 90 miles on the Greenbrier River Trail with no real problems. So I'm appreciative of that. It's been a pretty darn good little bike. Now, one problem I had with this bike is the fact that it was a size large, and so it's a little big for me. The frame size is a little bit big, so I really needed something a little bit smaller. I had to buy a much shorter stem when I got the handlebar so that my reach wasn't so far, but it's still a lot of reach across the top tube. The rims are 27.5 size tires, and then 2.5, I believe, on the tires themselves. So they're good off-road tires, worked really well in the gravel. The Greenbrier River Trail is predominantly gravel, I think pretty much all gravel. There are a couple road crossings you have, but you're on gravel 99% of the time. So perfect for gravel bikes, off-road tires. You want something that's grippy and it's going to get you the kind of traction that you need. So like I said, I didn't have any of this stuff really before the trip. So you know, the camping gear I was set on. You know, I had my tent and sleeping bag, quilt, all that kind of stuff from backpacking. So that was all good to go. I just didn't have any way to put it on the bike. So I had to purchase some bags pretty darn quick and relatively cheaply because I wasn't financially preparing for this trip. Now, everything I'm going to show you is off of Amazon pretty much. And I paid for all this stuff myself. Nobody sent me any of this stuff. This is all things I purchased. I'm going to put links down below to all these items, so if you're interested in some of these budget bike packing items, you can check them out there. First thing I started off with was the Mosotech frame bag. Actually, I was very surprised at the quality of the Mosotech bag. It's one of those made in China items, you know, so I was a little nervous about that, but it's held up pretty well, and it fits my frame triangle perfectly, which was great. And just the measurements worked out really well. It fits it absolutely perfectly. It's a double-decker system. It has two weather-resistant zippers that are really nice, and you know, you can put stuff in the top. I put a lot of things in this frame bag. I had my whole cook kit. I had all kinds of stuff in here, and there was room for more even. So that was pretty good. It was very, very roomy. None of the stuff I'm going to show you is as good as cottage vendor stuff that you're going to be able to get, and there are a lot of cottage vendors out there that make this kind of stuff. It's almost as overwhelming as backpacking gear is now. There are so many cottage vendors making bike packing stuff, and I actually have it on good authority that a backpacking cottage vendor that you all know and love, and I know and love, might be getting into the bike packing industry very soon. That will be awesome. Can't wait for that. So the next item I have is this top tube bag here from Rock Bros, and I ended up buying 2 items from Rock Bros because the prices were good and they were available, and they were, you know, Amazon Prime, shipped overnight, so I was able to get them like the day after, so I was able to have them in time for my trip, which was fantastic. But I had this Rock Bros top tube bag. It is supposed to be waterproof or very water resistant. It's actually really nice. Velcro closures, with 2 zippers, and then it has lots of nice storage, nice little pockets inside. So I keep my multi-tool in there. I got a little grease for my chain, and then I have a patch repair kit for my tires. So it's nice, and you can put your phone in here in this clear part on top, and you can use your phone, and it actually, you can touch through there and operate your phone through the top. So pretty nice, not a bad price for this. The other Rock Bros item is the seat bag here. Now this is not the seat bag that I ended up using on the trip. This is actually a replacement seat bag that Rock Bros ended up sending me, because the first one that I ordered off of them had a defect from the factory. One of the straps was actually almost cut in half. It had a huge cut in it. So I emailed Rock Bros and I said, you know, this this bag has a defect. And they were awesome. Their customer service was fantastic. They immediately replied back. They said, go out and get this bag and we will reimburse you. And it was actually the more expensive bag, which is this about an $80 bag. The bag I was using for the trip was about 40-50 bucks, but this is the $80 version. Really, really nice, very structurally sound, has a ton of room. You can expand this out and have tons of room for storage. So I have to say, for a Chinese company, mass-produced product off Amazon, Rock Bros, their customer service was fantastic, and you know, I really appreciate that from them. So nice bag. You know, these are pretty cool, and I was able to keep my sleeping pad in there. I put stuff on top of. I had stuff bungeed on top. I had all kinds of stuff on my seat bag, and it worked really, really well. I don't have them pictured here, but my brother-in-law had a ton of little bungee cords with little balls on the end. We used those to bungee all kinds of things to our bikes, and those worked out really, really well. You can buy those in bulk off Amazon. I don't have any to show you, but they are really, really fantastic, and I'm definitely going to get some of those as well. Then the last item here is something I already had, was this Sea to Summit Event dry bag, which I bought for backpacking way back in the day. I've had it for years and years, haven't used it in a very long time, but it turned out great for what I needed. I wanted a handlebar bag, and I put all my insulation in there and my tent, and I was able to do that with this event bag. And I went online to Amazon. Something that's very popular in the bikepacking community are the I don't know how you say it. Voile straps. They're like ski binding straps. They're silicone, they stretch. They're great. Well, I went on Amazon, couldn't find any that were going to be shipped immediately. None of them were Prime, so I needed them immediately. I needed them like the next day. So I found these from Titan straps, which are exactly the same thing. And these Titan straps, I'll tell you, were a great price and they worked fantastically. I would highly recommend the Titan straps if you can't get the Voile straps. They worked really, really well. So I was able to use this double buckle system and secure my dry bag to my handlebars. And it wasn't in the way. It didn't become unwieldy or anything like that. The bike was super easy to handle. It worked really, really well. All the weight was pretty well distributed across the bike and worked out really well. So with my budget bike and my budget bike packing items, I only ended up spending probably maybe $300 on this whole entire setup. So I would say that's a pretty budget-friendly option. And it worked really well. You know, 90 miles, really had no problems at all bike packing that trip. And it was a lot of fun. So if you are interested in bike packing, you don't have to have the most expensive thing in the world. You don't have to have the most expensive bike or the most expensive gear. You can do it on the cheap and see if it's something you enjoy. You could try it out, and if it's something you don't like, well, you're not out a whole lot. And you don't have to have the best bike, the most perfect frame. You can take the bike that you have, strap some stuff to it, and it should work fine for you. Now, like I said, I got bit so hard by the bug that I did decide to upgrade to a frame that fits me a little better. I found this online. So yeah, it's the Surly Bridge Club frame that I have there, and I'm going to be doing a complete bike build from the frame up. And like I said, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to be taking it to some people who do know what they're doing, and I'm getting some parts from a friend, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun to have a real setup. Steel frame is perfect for bike packing. The Bridge Club is made for that, and it's going to be an awesome build for sure. So I'll be doing a separate series of videos on my bike packing build. I hope you'll check that out. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.